Two-step equations notes. The learning goal is how to solve two-step equations. Two-step equations are different from one-step equations is because you have to use two operations to isolate the variable. Solving a two-step equation means using two operations to isolate the variable. You don't have to understand this example just yet, but it's just to see that there are two operations. Operation 1, which is subtraction, but it could also be addition or any of the four operations, main ones. And then operation 2 here is multiplication, the 3. Let's first learn a little about the different parts of a two-step equation and when you would use it. There are, I'm just going to raise this page up a bit. There is the coefficient, which is the 2. Then we have the variable, which is the x. Then we have two constants, the 5 and the 11. They're constants because there's no variable attached to them. I'm going to now label it. The 2 is the coefficient. Then the pink is the variable, the x. And then the two numbers without variables are the constants. So let's go over the steps involved in solving two-step equations. The goal is ultimately to isolate the variable. Your first step will be to add or subtract to eliminate the constant on the side where the variable is by using the inverse operations. Step 2 is multiply or divide to eliminate the coefficient using the inverse operations. Just to review the operations and the inverse operations, if the operation is positive, the inverse is negative. If it's negative, it becomes positive. If it's multiplication, it's division. And if it's division, it's multiplication. And while you're applying the inverse operations, also make sure to balance the equation by doing the same thing on both sides. Now let's apply these steps to the very first question, which is asking us to solve the equations below and show all your work. We have an equation here, 3x plus 7 is equal to 13. So the term we have here is 3x. We will ultimately isolate this x by eliminating the 3. But first, the step 1, it says add or subtract the constant, or if there's more than one constant, right now we're only going to have one, to the other side. To eliminate the 7, I have to do the inverse operation of plus, which is minus 7. Minus 7, whatever I do on one side of the equal sign, I have to also do on the other side. 13 minus 7. I'm going to rewrite this, 3x. The plus 7 and minus 7 cancel each other out, is equal to 13 minus 7, which is 6. Now I have 3x is equal to 6. The 3 times x is multiplication. I'm going to use the inverse operation of division. I'm going to divide 3x by 3, because 3 over 3 is 1. I will eliminate the 3. Whatever I do on one side, I have to do to the other side of the equal sign. I'm going to divide the 6 by 3. So x is equal to 6 divided by 3 is 2. Question 2. Here again, we have 3 terms, 1, 2, and 3, and the equal sign is here. Whatever we do on the left side, we have to do on the right side. Our first step is add or subtract the constants. The constant here is minus 6. The opposite of operation of negative 6 is plus 6. Whatever I do on one side, I do to the other. It is negative 3x, because these ultimately cancel each other out. Negative 18 plus 6 is negative 12. Now I have multiplication here. Negative 3x, negative 3 times x. The opposite operation is division. I'm going to divide this by negative 3. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. I am left with x is equal to negative 12 divided by negative 3 is positive 4. We also have to follow the double sign rules. Negative divided by negative is a positive. Here, this looks a bit different, but we're going to stick to the same rules. So there's no constants to move just yet, but we have this term is equal to this term. Within this term, there's a fraction. We want to eliminate the 6. Because this is divided by 6, the opposite or inverse operation is multiplication. We're going to multiply the left side by 6 and the right side by 6. So 6 divided by 6 will equal to 1. It is x plus 20 is equal to 8 times 6, 48. Now I have a constant, and I'm going to move to the other side. I'm going to subtract 20 on both sides, which is equal to x. 48 minus 20 is 28. We have a constant. We're going to move that or eliminate it, but to the other side by balancing the equation, and then we have division, which means we will then multiply. Plus 4. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. I'm going to rewrite x over negative 8 is equal to 3 plus 4 is 7. And now I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 8 to eliminate the negative 8 in the denominator. I'll multiply 7 times negative 8, which is equal to x. 7 times negative 8 is negative 56. Question 5. The perimeter of the rectangle is 24 units. Find the value of x. I'm just going to label the rectangle with a little bit of more information. If this is a rectangle, this length is equal to this length. That means that this is 9. And if this is x, then this is x as well. The variable here is x, which is the unknown. The equation, the perimeter means the total length of all the sides of the rectangle. So if I add 9 plus x plus 9 plus x, it will give me 24 units. 2x, because it's x plus x. So that's 2x plus 9 plus 9 is 18. And all of that should equal 24 units. Now I'm going to isolate the x by first moving the constant to the other side. This one I'm going to eliminate. Minus 18. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. That becomes 2x is equal to 24 minus 18, which is 6. And now I'm going to divide by 2. And x is equal to 3. So if I put it back into sort of the equation, you can double check. So 3 plus 9 plus 3 plus 9 will give me, or gives us 24 units.